As you guys know, typically I am not the one to be talking about Blox updates like that in a way where I actually give out real news to you guys. Like, I'm not putting out trailers, I'm not putting out sneak peeks, official sneak peeks, and if I do, it's probably an accident. I don't mean to like leak anything, but that might be different for today's video, because today I think I actually have something where I can talk to y'all and show like new and confirmed information. So we're gonna be looking at all of that in today's video. And if you guys want to hear about everything that's gonna be coming in the next couple of updates, make sure to watch to the end, like the video, and comment down below. It helps me. And more importantly, we're trying to get to 5 million subscribers. So please do me a favor. I'm gonna be leaking all this information and helping share this to you guys. So please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Anyways, now onto the topic of the video. All this information I'm gonna be talking about comes from not just Twitter or anything else that's official, but from Reddit. I know you guys are thinking like, Uzoth, when have we ever gotten any information about the updates on Reddit? Well, never. Until recently. That's because Admin E went publicly and went on Reddit to answer some of your guys' hard-hitting questions. I couldn't believe it. I would love to do something like that if I got permission to, and just talk about the updates, because I would love to do that. Maybe I'll ask one day if they'll let me, but as for now, this is Admin E. Admin E spoke out about everything, I mean almost everything, about what's to come in the future freaking updates. And as we know, we have been starving for updates. So without further ado, let's actually start digging in and looking at all of this. I actually made a Reddit account just to make this video. If you guys want to, I don't know how Reddit works, but if you guys want to follow me or something, I am known as Uzoth. This is my avatar. Hope you guys like it. Look at that. Look at that. Doesn't it look just like me? Well, not me, but my Roblox avatar. Like, look at that. Look at that. See, he got the blonde, long hair. But anyways, let's just, let me stop yapping. If we go to the actual subreddit, we can see there's a bunch of posts that you guys can like just talk about anything. But recently, Admin E has made an official Reddit account and spoke and answered questions about whether it's like coming updates or like why Blox does certain things. If we look up that Reddit post, I think it's called, if I look up Admin E has joined the Reddit. It has gotten 117 upvotes and 287 comments. I'm gonna be looking at everything E has talked about, at least the most notable things, and kind of giving my take on them, maybe even expanding on some of it. Maybe I'll fill in some context clues as to what Admin E is responding in these questions. But let's take a look. This is Admin E that wrote this. He said, "For those that don't know me, I am part of the Blox team. I wanted to join the community and talk to you guys more. Ask me questions you'd like answered, and I'll try to answer as many curiosities as possible. Please be civil. I will not engage in toxic conversation. I respect those with respect. I'll answer questions when I have time, so don't get upset if I missed yours. I'll probably come back and see it eventually. No, I also cannot leak any specifics on upcoming future updates, so please refrain from asking that. Also, just call me E, please. Let's go." By the way, I've read some of this, and he does talk about some update stuff, so I guess that's giving me permission to talk about some update stuff. So let's do it. I can't wait. I can't wait. If we look at the first question, Nightmare X says, "Hello E, my question is, will the gaps between updates get shorter in the future?" That is a great question. "Or will we get anything in a few upcoming updates to keep us engaged all the time?" He is basically asking, will the time frame between updates get shorter? And the first answer he gives to that is there are small updates or events that have been put out from time to time in the past to try and close that gap where there's no content in between updates. However, it does seem like sometimes people dislike these updates / events and think they're too simplistic, meaning they're just too simple. They're just too easy. Like this, the Easter update is too simple. There's not enough content. People are saying those sort of things. For the most part, however, I think most people enjoy them, and because of that, we'll probably continue dropping them. I feel like some people don't really understand the amount of work that goes into bringing out updates, an extensive process that takes time, although the end product may not always explicitly reflect the amount of work and countless hours our developers put into these updates. So Admin is basically saying, even though some of you guys might not like these small updates that we put out, but basically because it kind of allows more time so that way Blox can give the audience something in the meantime while they're working on the big things, like the big reworks, the big stuff. Because sometimes, like, quite honestly, like when I read the conversations, the devs chats, some of the code is spaghetti, meaning it's outdated. If sometimes the devs have to just work around that, and they are forced to do that, or else they have to rewrite the entire game. I mean, they still get the job done, and it just takes more time. But it's not just because of that. There's also other things, like other nuances. Like we have to wait on modelers, we have to wait on sound effects, we have to wait on certain things, we have to bug test, we have to make sure there's no game-breaking bug where suddenly when you spin at the gacha, everyone gets the gacha for free, and they're just getting infinite fruits, and then we have to revert it, and it's just it's a big mess. They have to do so much more testing because of Blox and how it is. But in the meantime, they are releasing these smaller updates because it kind of helps stall out and pretty much keep the players busy. He answers 2 more questions, but let's look at the second question. Another question, will you / other devs / admins / owners actually do something to balance the game? Okay, for you PvP enjoyers, this is for you. Like, I've seen thousands of players complaining about fruits and transformation and M1s just killing everyone in sight. Also, what happened to the buff / nerf page where we would get buffs and nerfs of fruits every 1 week / 2 weeks or 1 month? We know there's a lot of things that need balancing and definitely something of importance to keep in mind. I think the biggest concern why there's not a week by week basis type of balancing patch is because we're frequently focused on the upcoming updates. However, there are patches that are put into the game to try and help and balance things out. For example, just recently there were a few patches worked on for some exploit, which allows exploiters to abuse M1s. I know this is more of a patch to prevent exploiters from abusing, but it's just an example off the top of my head from a patch some people may not know happened. There are patches going out all the time. They're just not always announced. E is basically saying because they're just too focused on the future updates, and actually they do put out patches for certain things, but they're not always announced. That's just like the gist of that question. And guys, don't forget, Admin E answers even more hard-hitting questions that I know that you guys want to know later on in this video, so please make sure to watch to the end because I know you guys don't want to miss anything that Admin E is basically saying, and I'm going to be basically telling you in this video because he spills some juicy beans. He spills some juicy information. I can't believe it. But basically, the third question that this guy asked, will you guys ban / shut down a site named Blox values, blah, blah, blah. Like, most people use it, and sometimes I feel like they're scamming me. Like, the site says something like Perm Dragon's worth 7 billion, and now it says Galaxy Kit is worth like 25 billion. It hasn't been buffed, and they're saying that it can get you 4 Perm Dragons, and worst of all, most traders use it, blah, 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 blah. Basically, some website is either inflating values or it's just some weird stuff. I don't know. I don't want to read the whole thing, but basically, Admin E says, I would not blindly rely on these value websites, and whoever's running the website, they could easily just change the values of certain things because so many people think that Blox fruit values is the real value of certain fruits. They can manipulate the market basically and just, you know, it'll just be weird. I don't know. I feel like personally, you should just trade and offer based on what you want and what you think is fair. I wouldn't blindly, if you guys are traders, I would suggest stop trusting value websites. I mean, sure, it's a good way of guiding yourself into knowing that you're not getting scammed, but also the people that are running those websites really do manipulate the value of those certain things. Now, finally, onto the next person. This guy, oh my god, this guy asked 6 questions. Oh my god. Okay, but these ones seem short. Visaretti said, do you guys think it will ever be possible to have old versions of fruits in the game again? I really miss Old Dragon and Old Rumble, and a lot of other people do as well. Let me take a guess on what Admin is gonna say before he answers or before I read what he said. I personally don't think, because this is something I really wanted to for a video, like looking at the old Blox fruit updates somehow. I think someone told me it was theoretically possible, but it would be really hard to like do and set up. It was because I really want to do a video like that, and so it just take a lot of time to set up for just one video, aka me, and it's just not worth it. But let's see what Admin E said. Let's see what Admin E said. He said, I do think that a lot of people do miss old fruits, especially the comp / skilled community, which enjoys some of the older fruits with worse abilities for PvE that in turn made them better for PvP due to things like smaller hitboxes and etc. I think the main reason we didn't keep most of the older stuff is because they were from a different time in Blox with a much older code base, which would have to maintain and may cause bugs in the future. That is a great point. That is actually another great thing to point out because a lot of these fruits are very old and outdated. And like I said, the old systems that kind of carry Blox fruits and its main infrastructure is outdated. So whenever those fruits came out, those are also old, and it's just like, yeah, they're messy. They could cause bugs for other games, and that's just like more things to consider when releasing more fruits. Like, okay, so whenever a player gets on a boat, to make sure not only the new dragon or the old dragon can't transform while riding a boat, stuff like that. It makes for more things to test, and just like he said, the code is weird and just messy. I don't know. Now on to the next question. Are macros a bannable offense? He basically says no, but if you are using them alongside with like an exploit or abuse them for like a really bad, like a critical glitch, then it could lead to a ban. Third question, could there ever be a public testing for Blox fruits? I think the game needs it. And Admin E actually gives an interesting answer because I agree with him for the most part. Basically what Admin E is saying is that for the first part, he does say public testing used to be a thing, so any player could just join Blox fruits. It was a thing a long time ago, but a lot of people could test out the updates before the game would release them. But it became an issue where players would just leak the update and it'd just be, I don't know, it just killed everything. Because you know, Blox fruits likes to build the hype moments, the trailers, the hype, the sneak peeks. And so So we couldn't really do that if people were just gonna be constantly leaking about what was coming out. But another thing that he points out is that there are people who use exploits to look through the public game, and other people use Discord bots to stalk our developers. I know there's people out there who this message is for you. This message is directed towards you. Screw you guys. You guys are weird. So imagine if these people who are big stalkers had public access to the actual game. They're already using exploits to try to get as much information as they can, but imagine if they actually had access. But basically, the rest of Admin E's message is saying we do have a testing team that does test out updates. It consists of about 20 people, and those 20 people have to go through the entire game each time we release an update in like certain patches and test so much. Basically, pretty much replaying the entire game every time a patch comes out. So that way they can test everything and just make sure there's no bugs that slip through. But again, it is 20 people. So by the time when an update comes out, and at that point, it's about thousands, hundreds of thousands of players practically testing the update by the time the update comes out, there are obviously going to be things that slip through, and these bugs, or sometimes game-breaking bugs that just slip through because 20 people is just not enough. They can test as much as they want, but when it compares to 100,000 people, 200,000, 500, millions of people that test the game update whenever it comes out, there is bound to be bugs that people just discover, and it can't be helped. So, All right, question number 4. Do you guys ever take player suggestions? It seems that Bloxers very rarely takes advice suggestions from players. Before we look at Admin E's answer, personally, I do. Actually, I lied. I used to do it quite a lot because there is good advice, but then at some point, suggesting things in the suggestions channel on Discord, it became so filled of like the same repeating suggestions, like add this, add that, make a glass fruit, make a poo-poo fruit, make a freaking slime fruit or something, like just random changes, or nerf this, nerf that. Like, I guess, yeah, those are great things to point out. Like, maybe if enough people are saying, oh, this boss is too hard, sure. If it's become like a big thing and people are really acknowledging like Darkbeard is too hard to fight, or there's a bug going around, then sure, things like that are great. But at some point, it became so filled with people just asking for the same suggestions. I won't lie, there is some really good advice and like suggestions that people put out there, and I personally look at them and I forward them to the owners. So I'd be like, hey, this is actually a great idea. Why are we not doing this? But let's see what Admin E says. We do read player suggestions and take the ones that seem fair or make sense into account. Yeah. Please note, for every good/critical suggestion, there are 999 more that drown it out. So sometimes it takes a bit for us to see them. Yeah, pretty much what I just said. Yeah, just sometimes there's just so much bad suggestions. No offense to any of you guys that put out bad suggestions, but sometimes there's just so many poop suggestions that it drowns out the good ones, and sometimes just admins or devs don't have enough time to read all that. So, I mean, we do have a pretty good system in the Discord where it's like, I mean, this bot will automatically put a star, so it basically hints that if there's something you agree with, put a star next to it. Someone said, just update the game. Repost. Yeah, cool. Yeah, like, yeah, I'm gonna repost my thing. Poop and pea fruit. Guys, you guys see this? Add 5 billion bounty. Buddy, we're capped at 30 million. Go all the way up to 5 billion. Ban macro, repost, blah, blah, blah. But if enough people do suggest and put a star next to like things they like, it will go into a channel called popular suggestions. Like this one, it got, how many? 51 stars. And they consider things like let us favorite fishes, inventory managing, increase the fish capacity, progressive system. These are things like a lot of you guys are suggesting. I suggest that you guys start going into the Discord if you can, because sometimes the server gets full, looking at the suggestions channel if you have time, and just, you know, favorite your favorite ones, whatever ones you agree with. Because whenever we see these favorited ones, it gives us an idea that people like these suggestions and actually want them. So that's just one system that we have that I think you guys should start doing. I think it'd be great. All right, now then he asked, why isn't the Bloxers team more transparent with the community? It would be cool if we could know what's going on behind the scenes. That is exactly what he's doing right now. Admin E, he is making a Reddit post and answering some questions, but I know that doesn't justify all the months of no talking and communication. So let's see what he says. Well, that's why I'm here. Exactly, that's what I just said. Trying to build a connection with y'all so that way we can be more transparent. Wow. So that's, I guess that's his answer. That's why he's doing his Reddit post. And 6, do admins actually give their friends unreleased stuff? I have met multiple random people with pink portal. He says there are some people that get certain things unreleased. However, these people aren't just friends. They're either admins/devs on alt accounts or close friends to devs that they've known for years. So if you see someone with pink portal, something that's not in the game, they might be a developer. Oh my God, I am so tired. There are still better questions out there that we're gonna be getting on later in this video. Let's just keep reading, because trust me, Admin E goes over some crazy hard-hitting questions that I never never thought he would answer. He said he wasn't gonna answer things about the update, but he does. I'm gonna be skipping some of these. I'm gonna skip some of the ones where it's just not interesting. Let's look at some. You know what? I wanna skip some of the ones where it's just bad questions that don't give juicy information. So let's see. Actually, and the next question is actually pretty good. First question, does the team have plans to fix the new player experience? More specifically, does the team intend to do some balance changes, lowering RNG, etc.? And I personally love this question because I really talk about with the team, at least with the owners or one of the owners, about first C reworks. I aspire for this, and as many times as I bring it up, it gets countered with good arguments as to why certain, like, they're just not releasing certain things yet, or how whenever first C reworks were ready, they had to redo some stuff, and they brought up like why to me. I'm not gonna go into too much information why certain things had to be rebuilt or whatever, but they're just really good, compelling arguments. I just can't argue against it, but I always bring it up because I'm like, oh my god, why are we not doing first C? Blah blah blah. I have to be reminded by them, like this and that. It's good reasons, but I can't say because it kind of spoils certain things, and it's information I can't put out there. But I will say, first C, second C, all these reworks, early gameplay experience, I'm like, bro, Blox wants to reel in new people, but also there is the stats about how 80% of the concurrent players are max level, or at least in the third C, so they are like progressed. Not 80%, it's not that much, but the majority. So when they want to focus on late game player experience, that's why, the most at least. So if they put so much effort into the first C and whatnot, it's just like, it's not worth it because it appeals to like 5% or 10% of players, because the data shows that about 5%, 10% of those players and whatnot is people who logged in once and then left the game, like level ones, literally people that play the game for the first time and just left. But it's just stuff like that. Like, it's not enough of a priority, but I always bring it up because I love hearing about first C and second C, and I always have so many ideas. I want to indulge. But anyways, Admin E says, we definitely have plans for improving the new player experience. It's something that has been talked about for a while and we're aware of. Balance changes are also talked about a lot, and hopefully soon we'll have another balance change that'll help make the game and PvP more enjoyable. I am not promising a balance patch, by the way, by saying this, having to state this for Blox leak pages, lol. So, I mean, there's your answer. Then he says, next, why is there a lack of communication so much? Oh, he already said this. That's why he's making his Reddit post to answer questions, yada yada. Same thing as before. Why do updates take so long? He already answered that. Here's a good question by Seiko. What's up, Seiko? Was ranked PvP a one-time event? Was it something coming back? Was it just to test murder duels? If you guys don't know what murder duels is, it's Indra's new game, which is actually funny to say because that was like a year ago. So the fact that murder duels came out, it's like this. Let me show you. Yeah, so if you look at murder duels, this is Indra's new game with Felku, with some other people. It's basically you queue up and you go against people, pretty much like the system that was used in last year's PvP event and whatnot. So that's why he's asking that, like, oh, was this just a test for murder duels and whatnot? You queue up, you go against people, and it's a pretty similar system. So that's why he's asking that. Actually, let me get a quick clip on this guy. Oh, okay, that's it. That's all I'm doing. But that's why Seiko's asking. It's so easy. But that's why he's asking, because there used to be a thing where you can queue up and do 2v2s, and he thinks it was a test for that game, which it wasn't. And why was it removed in the first place? Admin E says, we spoke about the ranked PvP event and how much people enjoyed it. It's definitely something that will be coming back in the future. Hey, this is all Admin E has just said. He basically confirmed it. I am not gonna get in trouble. If he was allowed to say it, I trust him. But hey, he confirmed it, so I will be talking about it too. Those that know me know I love the Blox PvP community. It was only removed because it was only meant to be a temporary thing for the event from the start. As far as murder duels, that's a different game that was made by the great Rimbindra. Okay, this guy's glazing, but it did not affect the development of Blox at all. Bringing this up as I've seen people speculate it will affect Blox. I'm a fan of murder duels and play it as well. So yeah, when murder duels came out, Indra's new game, people were saying that, oh, it's gonna slow down updates now. Don't worry. Don't even stress it. Don't even think about it, because Blox updates have been going at the same pace. If anything, it's actually picked up in speed in comparison to like a year ago. So nothing's slowed down, nothing's changing. If murder duels updates, that's completely separate from Indra. That's a completely separate game. It's not gonna slow down Blox updates. Basically, Admin E is confirming that that PvP mode is coming back, and I can't wait because I love it. I love it. Quick question: did you forget about the creation admin panel? Ooh, okay. Here's a juicy answer. Nope, I haven't haven't forgot about it, but for some reason, every time we add stuff that deals with physics, it always becomes a problem with arising bugs and the way it interacts with everything else in the game. Keep in mind, we have so many things in the game and they don't always play nice with each other. However, I think in the near future, it will see a release. Don't give up on it like y'all didn't give up on Divine Art. Oh, okay, interesting. So Divine Art was a fighting style that was teased long time ago. There's a bug with Divine Art and it just was unusable, so that's why it ended up, there was a plan to release it for a bigger and better update, but it didn't line up with like Dragon update, it didn't line up with Easter update. Like, why release Divine Art? And yeah, basically explaining like that creation card. If you guys haven't seen it, let me show you. If we go to the hacked bulletin, we can kind of see a sneak peek of it. Barrier hidden ability, but we see Indra or whoever, Frank, spawning a creation card. This is like an ability with the barrier fruit or the creation fruit whenever it's coming out. There was a drivable car where you can like drive around, and as M&E pointed out, there is weird physics. It's driving up walls, all these sort of like weird turning maneuvers. It's very complicated. And later on, as it was being tested, it was interacting too weirdly with other physics of the game, so they had to just prolong it or just, you know, focus on something else. This guy asked some good questions. I'm gonna just pick and choose the good ones I like. Number 3, will updates keep going to take half a year? Good question. Like I've stated in the previous answer, we'll keep trying to do events in between updates and now. I'll hopefully also help make the waiting time feel shorter by keeping communication with you guys. However, please note that the time an update takes will vary and it will not always take half a year. It can take less. I think if I were to phrase this answer better, it would be, I feel like less than 6 months is even too much of an exaggeration, because there was a plan to do an update a month with certain things, but recent months, I think like we were gonna do like one update in January, one update in February, one update in March, but sometimes the scope of these events got too big. Like we're like, oh, it'd be cool to do this, it'd be cool to do that, we should add a cinematic, we should add this to this event whenever you do this boss fight at the end of this event. And this is all for like those tiny events to fill between the updates, those type of events. Will this update have more content than usual? There's a lot of stuff we're working on and I'm excited for when we start to launch. I cannot say if it'll be more or less than usual updates, but I think it'll include fun things to do. He didn't specify. Oh man, if he did, I would have been like yapping about everything coming in the update, the next update at least. Oh man. Oh well, here's a good question. I was wondering when an admin would join, I guess referring to the subreddit. Here's this question. By previous size, how far-fetched would it be to say Quake and Dark rework is coming early to mid-August? Admin E says, I cannot be too specific about future updates like I stated in my original post. However, all I can say is that a lot of progress has been made towards one of these fruits, and the other one will be 100% be revamped / reworked in the near future. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Admin E just dropped a lot of ball knowledge. He basically said Quake and Dark are getting reworks, and one of them is basically complete that we can see in the near future. So leave a comment down below which one you guys think it's gonna be, Quake or Dark. Here's a great one by particular video. Hey E, I just want to ask, what happens to the C reworks? Oh my goodness, that is my favorite topic. Let's see what Admin E said. He said, I don't think I'm supposed to tell you this, but it's actively being worked on. Well, we kind of expected that. The reason it didn't launch all those years ago back was because of optimization issues. Okay. We don't want our players to start lagging. It was something that really worried us. It worries us even now. However, we know that we can't shelf this forever because of it. Hopefully, players are able to handle the reworks properly with the new optimizations and further improvements. Okay, so if Admin E was gonna say something that he doesn't think he's supposed to, if he gets in trouble, let the blame fall on both of us. If you guys are still watching, you made it this far in this video, I'm gonna be telling you guys something that I don't think I should be saying, but another reason as to why certain updates or just like certain things don't come out as frequently as they used to, like a new sword, a new puzzle, a new quest, a new gun, a new whatever all those mean, it ties back to the optimization issue. First seed, second seed, third seed, they're all cluttered with maps. The maps became more dense, more parts, more laggy, that it was one of the prime reasons why they don't add more islands. They want to really optimize and not release so many islands or new content. So that is actually a big reason as to why they don't push as much stuff. They're waiting till another spot opens up for them to push and fill that thing. So if you guys get the hint and I get in trouble, then I better hope Admin E also gets in trouble, or at least we both like split the damage. We only have Shipwright as a subclass. Do you guys plan on adding more subclasses to the game? Ooh, let me know. Admin E said yes. There will be more things to do in the side like that to do in the future. Okay, more subclasses. Great. Like what? However, I am not sure if they'll remain as subclasses or if they'll be their own thing like fishing. Yeah, I mean, that is true. Because there was a debate amongst the team about what defines a subclass and whatnot. Like, if you can suddenly start doing fishing, becoming a fisherman itself wasn't a subclass. Well, we want fishing to be open to everyone and just to have more things to do. But how does that differ from Shipwright, where you are repairing a boat? I guess subclasses are meant to feel more like an actual job. I know I should censor that. Sorry for all you guys that had to hear that, but you had to get a fishing rod, but almost anyone could just jump into becoming a fisher, becoming like a fisherman, or like fishing in general. There's a lot more questions, but where are the answers? Bro, did Admin E not answer anymore? Come on. All right, you know what? I thought Admin E is gonna answer more, but we still got a lot of good answers from Admin E. I wonder if there's like a question that I could answer. I'm feeling left out, you know? I'm feeling left out, bro. Wait, actually, let's check his profile. Yeah, it's pretty much all the answers he gave. Man, where was my invite? I want to answer some questions. Will the mean fruit get a permanent variant? No, most likely not. Will Celestial and Oni fruits release this year? I can't say. Damn, how many new fruits have you guys planned for the year? Including reworks or new fruits? Unironically, there is like 6 or 7 of them. And I'm not just saying that to me. I'm not even gonna do the, okay, I just did it. But I'm not even saying that to be ironic. How many fruits are in the works as of right now? Like 6 or 7, not even joking. Will there soon be a bulletin released? Yes, I want to say like sometime within like, actually, I don't know when this video is coming out, but depending when I'm recording it, I'm not going to say when I recorded this video, so you guys can just speculate, but sometime within the next week or so. I like to say that. I think I could say that, right? That's not that bad. What was the hardest fruit you and the rest of the team at Blox have ever worked on? I mean, Admin E or I or like the admins don't really like work on the fruits like the devs, but what was kind of like the hardest, which is one that's based on like conversations I remember, is definitely Dragon Control, because like the slicing thing, Dragon was like the actual rig and like the actual movement of the dragon to put out there. But will you guys add a new fruit that is not on the legendary or mythical rarity, rare, uncommon, or common? So what I've heard is that they really do not want to work on fruits that are low tier. Even I fought against this because I was like, oh, it would be so cool if we could have a beast common fruit, like a dog or something. Any kind of fruit would just take a month or like longer to spend, like even like a dedicated team to work on it. Who knows? But that is all I'm saying today's video, and that is all Admin E gave for us. And don't forget, I might make another one of these videos, and hopefully I'm gonna ask for permission from the owners if I can answer more questions and what I can answer. But don't worry, because Admin E said he's gonna be trying to be more connected with the community and answer more questions. So if you guys want me and Admin E to answer questions together, then I think you guys should really like the video and comment down below so that way the owners know. If enough people say it and they let us answer more questions together and be more transparent, then let us know by liking the video. You see that? You see that? Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.